Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Microbusinesses on a Mission Live. Happy February, and it's a month of love, so I'm excited to introduce to you someone today who specializes in celebrating and bringing back or just celebrating moments either in the current or past memories of loved ones in a very special way. So again, we are featuring businesses here that have a special mission that make the world a better place. And I think what she has to offer is so needed in this time, especially of isolation. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce to you Ann Kidder of
Hi.
Kidderbug Kreations. Welcome, Ann. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So again, as many of my guests have on this Microbusiness on a Mission Live, we have never really met. And I know something about you, but if you could tell everyone about who you are, that would be great.
Well, I'm Anne, and I'm the Chief Everything Officer, as I like to call myself, for Kidderbug Kreations. I'm married to a wonderful, supportive husband and a mom to two adult daughters.
Wonderful. And you have a very interesting name for your business, Kidderbug, which I know is a play on your name, on your last family name. But it does make it sound like it's a very kiddie thing. So I wanted to ask you now to just take us on a tour of what your business is about, and why it's and how it started. Because that story to me is so good to hear, and I think much needed for everyone to hear. But yeah, no, it's definitely not a kid thing. This is for all ages. So go ahead if you could tell us.
Well, basically, I consider my job to help women celebrate memories in every moment. So, whether that's the birth of a child, the celebration of life for someone who's passed away, or any moment in between, Kidderbug Kreations has gifts that you'll be proud to give. And so, um, one of my big parts of my business is memory or sympathy gifts. And so I create memory pillows, bears, ornaments, just all kinds of different items to help people celebrate the memory for someone who's passed away. And I use clothing from that loved one to create these items. And basically, it's because I lost four family members, four close family members in just a little over 3 years. And when my mom passed away, I just really craved something to hold. I needed something physical, something tangible, something I could actually hold. And so I ended up making a memory bear out of her nursing cape.
Oh my goodness. That is something. How can you even like touch that bear? I'd be like, that is
It just,
amazing.
for me, it was something that meant something to my mom. It was very special to her. It was a connection that I still had. You know, yes, I had my memories of her, and I could look at other things of hers and remember her by them, but just having something to actually hold and touch, that she had worn, that she had loved, that had connection and meaning to her, just really helped me heal. And so I've actually done, some looking, and there's lots of studies that show that there's a benefit from hugs. And so even if it's just a hug for a bear or a hug from a pillow, that physical touch just really does help with the grieving process and brings comfort. And so, especially in this time of isolation and time when there's been so much death and tragedy, I think having those items that mean something and that carry those memories is just really important.
That's so So needed, like you said, especially if it's made from that person's clothing and you have memories attached, not just with the person, but the actual clothing that is used for the product. Now, how did you? So presumably you've been sewing for the longest time. Before that, I mean, you can't just make a bear out of a nursing kit and just like I'll just make a bear, you know. So this has been one of your hobbies or a passion before that.
Little both. My grandmother actually taught me to sew when I was little. And so that was just quality, fun, her and me time. And so I really learned a lot about, obviously, stitching and techniques, but the care that goes into making those items and the attention to detail. And um, when I'm sewing, it often will flashback memories of time sewing with her too. So that part, was a hobby. And then once my family members had passed away, I really wanted other people to have that same ability to receive comfort from items. And so that's kind of been a passion of mine then, is to provide that service to other people. And I actually did bring some samples to kind of show you today, because
That'd be
most people
great.
hear of memory bears.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this is one of my bears.
Oh, wonderful.
And so this one has jointed arms and legs, which is kind of fun. And then I have
one piece of clothing, that one.
that one was. This one is actually a miniature version. And so you can see it has several different pieces of clothing. This one I use a lot for people who have lost infants. So stillbirths, miscarriages. Sometimes they don't have clothing, and so I'll just use regular fabric. These can be weighted to the weight of the stillborn, which is often.
You're just you're tugging at my heart. This is too much. I don't know how I could possibly hold that bear if I had one.
And this is one of my lions.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
He's made from a couple different shirts. Sometimes I like to do this one for kids, like for babies that I use the grandparents' clothing. So all four grandparents send something, and then this is a nice little baby gift to have of grandparents as well.
That's so beautiful. How do you think of that? Is that just something you thought about, or do people actually do that all the time?
That one was actually one that I thought of, that I just thought would be really cute. This is my unicorn. He's just kind of fun. He has lots of different clothing items as well. And this one is jointed too. So basically, it depends on what people want. So sometimes I'll use one article of clothing and I can get the bear if it's an adult item. If it's kids items, obviously I usually like to have more or supplement with more, just because there's not enough fabric in an infant thing to be able to get all the pieces out of most of the time.
Yeah. I wish I'd known you before. I would have had something made, but this isn't just for deceased loved ones, right? You could have one made of somebody who's just, a continent away, maybe, or somebody who's just not able to come to you because of the pandemic, or can't fly here, who normally would fly to you, especially at Christmas, maybe, or, Easter, whatever the occasion is. You could have that person send something, and it would be like a living,
exactly,
not a memory there of a deceased person, but someone who's just separated by distance.
In fact, I had a lady contact me about making bears for her kids, because she and her husband were both going to be deploying soon. And so she wanted something for the kids to be able to have to hold while they were gone, that connected them as well.
Oh my God. This is too much. I can't take it.
It does pull on the heartstrings, definitely.
It's so beautiful, what your idea, and just having that knowledge that you can leave something for your, or send something to a loved one. that will mean something, not a store-bought one or a
Right.
mass-produced one. What is the most unusual piece that you think you have made, or maybe something that stands out, or
Probably the unicorn.
was that a special request, or you actually
That
wrote
was
them?
just a new pattern that I wanted to try out and be able to offer to people. And I think it turned out really cute. So,
Yeah. And I saw you made one from different ties. So it's almost like a daisy.
that's
And
actually a table runner. So,
oh,
yep,
was
I've
it a
used.
table runner? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I saw you made them from different, the ties were like radiating out from a
Yep.
center. And it could be like, maybe somebody who loved ties. You just have more ties than shirts to
Yeah,
make them.
I have a couple of customers who have sent ties and wanted things made out of them, and that one actually lends itself really well to having different ties on it. So
So you make pillows, memory bears. Is that basically what you would make?
I've done ornaments, so
Ornaments too.
taking some of
Okay.
the fabric and making it into a heart, and incorporating some of the buttons that I've taken off when I've done multiple shirts. I have a hand sanitizer case that I've incorporated some of the fabric into, and I've had leftovers. Um, I've done regular pillowcases. I do quilts. Most things I can, make out of the fabric from clothing. Some things don't lend itself real well to doing that, but most of the time we can find something special and unique to celebrate those memories.
Are they washable? Or I'm just thinking of little babies.
It depends. I would say a lot of this stuff is, just because it's made out of their clothing. So if their
Mhm.
clothing was washable, the
Yeah.
item should be too. Um, the bears, if I know that it's going for a kid, oftentimes I won't necessarily put the eyes on, but these are safety eyes, so they're pretty good. But obviously, anything is possible,
Yeah.
for a kid to choke on. So you want to make sure that they're well supervised.
That's so wonderful. I can, I mean, to me, it's especially for the kids, it's such a wonderful gift to give them, because they need that touch more,
Mhm.
the hugs, but even adults, we probably don't admit it, but it's
Most
as much as we
definitely.
should, we'll just sneak it off in the bedroom at night or something, but it's so wonderful to know that you can have something like that. What is the smallest piece of clothing or article that you can make something out of? Not a ornament, like something you can actually hug.
Um,
What's the minimum, I guess?
it depends a lot on what you're looking for and if you want it just made out of clothing or having me supplement. So for some people who, especially like a stillborn,
Hmm.
they may only have one piece of clothing or two pieces of clothing. And so a lot of times I'll use what I can out of that and then supplement in with some extra fabric that I have on hand that would match and go with that. So I have worked with as little as one. Um, Most of the time I say, send me as much as you can, or we talk about what they want and come up with a number of items from there based on what they're looking for.
And from the time, let's say I send the clothing to you, how long does it take to get back to me?
Well, once I receive the items, I usually ask for 2 weeks for production time, and then I ship it back to you. So that shipping back to you kind of depends on our shipping
Yeah,
issues at the
I
moment.
guess I shouldn't ask. No, in pandemic times, it all goes depends on shipping, like you said,
Exactly.
but roughly less than a month usually, or
Um, well, I usually tell people give the mail a week to 2 weeks to get it to me.
okay.
2 weeks for me to make it, and then give it a week to 2 weeks to get back to you. So
So 6 weeks.
that's pandemic
Yeah.
shipping times. It's just It is what it is right
It
now. Sometimes they're really good, and
Yeah.
we get things timely, and things get to
Yeah.
people on time, and other times it takes a little longer than we would like.
Right. Well, we should have plenty of time for Christmas, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, please. If you want Christmas orders, order them now.
Well, this is wonderful, and thank you so much for for coming up. I guess we didn't really come up with this idea; it kind of fell into your lap. But thank you for using your skills to bring joy to others, to bring comfort, and to help live those memories, bring life to those memories over and over again. It's just so special, especially in this pandemic times and just moments of isolation when you need something tangible, like you said. So I am so grateful that you joined me, and really am so glad that we met. And thank you so much for joining us, Anne.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was nice meeting you as well.
Nice meeting you too. And thank you everyone for joining us. And we'll see you next week for another Micro Businesses on a Mission Facebook Live. Bye, everyone.